welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Jay Donovan.
Jeff Fischer.
Aaron Cook.
And I'm Todd Novak. Welcome, everyone.
What's up?
Howdy. What?
What's up?
Howdy. Hi.
I'm
Dudes.
saying what's up to everyone out there.
Oh, to everyone out
You
there.
too, Todd.
Not you.
Yeah. Not me. Hey,
Hey,
we're so glad to be back together. We've been missing each other a little bit. Schedule's have been a little nuts, but we're still keeping up with the episodes. We have, I think, a very solid episode that said it hasn't been done yet, so hopefully it holds up to that. And so I brought in something special, which we'll share in a little bit. But let's get started with what's new with you guys in your music worlds today, this week, now, as of this episode. Jay.
Moi.
Yeah.
All right. So what's new is actually something I've had for a long time, and I totally forgot about it. I have a 1966 Univox 305R guitar amp.
Sweet.
It's a Japanese guitar amp, right? It's tube, and it's kind of weird, right?
What's it called again?
305R. It's a
Univox 305R.
Univox, and it's the weird thing about it is it has a 15-inch speaker. It's a guitar amp. It's a 15-inch speaker, but it's got two channels and it's got reverb. I think that's why they call it the R, and it's the one I have is in disrepair, right? It came with this Rhodes I used to have. It was the amp for the Rhodes.
If I hear about that
Rhodes one more time, but it's gone, and we'll come back to that. I'll tell you another story about the Rhodes. But anyway, I played a guitar through it. I played that old Alley Cat through it, and it just sounded like it's really weird in the best way, right?
So how do you forget that you have this?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't work very well,
Okay.
and I put it in the garage, and like, I don't know, when I sold all the other gear, I didn't sell that thing, so it's like the crappiest.
Because you didn't even know it was there.
Well, no, I mean, I remember that the other stuff I sold were things that I could get again. This thing's kind of unique, and it has a really banged up, when you crank it, I think it's only like 12 watts. I don't actually know. I think it's only 12 watts. And it has a 15-inch speaker, so it's really hard to bang it up. But when you crank it all the way, it has this really kind of gnarly, crunchy kind of, it's not like other amps I've heard. So I thought it's something old, something new. Here, wait, what's the...
It's very topical, Jay.
Yeah. So that's what's new. I'm kind of looking at this thing. I want to get it repaired. It's not grounded, right? The plug's still not grounded.
Have you like opened it up and dug into it?
Yeah, it's got a Jensen speaker in it, like some special. It's a 15-inch speaker in a guitar amp, which I don't know. It seems like they're normally 12.
So I hear actually lots of good things about a 15-inch in a guitar amp.
Well, tell me what you.
I hear lots of good things. I mean, look, it all comes down to preference, but for some reason that feels like it's something I've been hearing more of. I mean, historically, people have opted to play guitars out of bass amps for specific sounds. I don't know exactly why. We should maybe look. We should do an episode on speaker setup. That'd be a good one. We'll do that soon. That's in the bin now. But I'm not exactly sure why. If we can dig that up while we're talking, that would be kind of fun to find out. You know, if there's what the preferences are on that. But I know it's relatively common, I guess. Not super sure. And so the speaker is not torn up or anything.
No, it's still good. It's just dusty. Everything's loose, and it's got a lot of. It needs rewired. I think it needs some. It kind of comes and goes. It'll cut in and out every once in a while.
And it's
like not
it's
all
tube driven.
It's all tube, yeah.
Maybe it could just be a bad
tubes,
tube.
Well, it's
Potentially, it could be so many different things.
I guess they're kind of. I don't know a whole lot about tubes either, to be honest, especially like guitar tubes. What I looked up, and I haven't looked at the ones on the side, on the inside, but a 6 CA4, you know, and I guess that some of these are kind of hard to get. The 12 AX7A.
If it is that old, I mean, you're probably dealing with some caps that are drying out as well.
That could be why it's
possible
coming
bad
and
tube.
going.
So
Yeah, if you hit that thing hard, it could just pop the.
drying out of caps is a big problem for the old gear like that. So it changes a lot of stuff inside when that happens.
It's very insightful.
Yeah, so it's 50 years old, I guess, right? Yeah, 66. So
I could
That's
be
all-
wrong, but I
that's
think
all.
Didn't Stevie Ray Vaughan play have at least 1 or 2 amps that had a 15-inch speaker?
it's funny you say that because all the people that I did a little bit of research on the web kind of compared it to a blues. It's for like has a blues sound.
Yeah.
It doesn't overdrive. You really got to really turn it all the way up to drive it.
It'd be
It's
like
kind of a cleaner.
super clean.
It is.
And probably a lot warmer as opposed to like a 410 or something like that where it's going to be like pretty bright.
Yeah. I mean, you can make it break up, and some other people that I've read online that use these they'll put an overdrive in there somewhere to, you know, something to push a little more before if you really want it to break up. So, but
Interesting. Well, man, you got to get that thing.
I'll bring that in.
up.
I'll bring that in, and you guys can look at it. It's because it's not too big to carry around. We can look at it. As if we were looking up 15-inch speaker situations, Jensen was thrown around quite a bit. Just initially taking a look, so at least you have something that makes sense, or at least there's documentation out there about using that as a guitar. Are you sure it is a bass amp? No, it's a guitar amp.
It is a guitar amp.
It's a guitar.
I missed that part. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, and there, I mean, it's neat looking because it's old, and it's got that just kind of flat, all silver knobs, and it looks like a Fender.
Yeah,
but it kind of looks like a Fender Bassman almost.
It's got standby.
Is it really big? How big is it?
It's probably.
Okay, you're Jay's holding his hand about.
I'm saying 2 feet. I don't know. It's
armchair height.
It's 2 cubits.
Wait. What is it? Yes.
Yeah, about 2 cubits.
Okay. Well, that's cool, man. That's a good find. Those are kind of neat. If anybody has anything to add, you can go on our Facebook group or Twitter and show us what you got. That'd be kind of cool.
They have a value.
Or if you have any thoughts on a 15-inch speaker for a guitar, if you like playing them, it's an interesting topic to broach. So broach it.
Do you know if there's a value placed on this guy, like a vintage value that they're sought after? Or anything?
Everything I looked at, it's maybe like $300.
That actually seems really high. I was gonna say like 200, 250.
You and your silly
$299
was guaranteed you're gonna have to do work on it, unless it already has had that done. Then
that's what I mean, like in good shape.
Okay,
like in
working condition.
Yeah,
right.
$299.
So what you're saying is in working condition they're worth $299. $99.
Is that what you mean,
Jeff? What do you got new?
So what I've been playing with is pickup height. And
Pickup
getting
height.
Pickup height in on a guitar specifically. I was just noodling around trying to lower some of my input into my interface, and there was a recommendation to lower your pickup height to try to get a little bit lower input, so it's not slamming the front of the interface. So I was messing with that and looked up a bunch of different articles of what is the right pickup height. How do you set it? Mm-hmm. Is there any, rhyme or reason to it?
Where were you looking?
On the internet.
Specifically? Anywhere?
Specifically on the internet.
Okay. Just open search.
there were so many. I went through a bunch.
The reason I'm asking is like if you know where your pickups, or if you know where your pickups are from, then you know, like if you had Duncans, then you can go to Duncan site.
Yeah.
If you had Lawlers, you can go to Lawler's
Right.
site, bare knuckles, etc.
Yeah. So I did look on Seymour Duncan. I did look on Fender. I arrived at Fender because they have a lot of different
They make things.
articles and technique of how to set things up. So just looked at other videos of other people that say do this technique, and one of them is using a paper clip, and you hover it over the string, and if it connects to the string by being magnetically pulled to the string, they say the pickup's a little too close to the string.
I think I read that same article.
So
Interesting.
So what happens when the pickup is too close to the string? And all I've been hearing is that it starts to basically pull on the string to keep it from resonating as long. So with the pickup, it starts to slow the resonation quicker.
Kill sustain.
Kill sustain a little bit. So I played with a bunch of different heights in the bridge and in the front, and it's amazing actually the difference it does make to the sound. So as I found as it gets lower, especially in the neck pickup, it definitely gets a little bit more hollow sounding, which is a little bit more bassy, a little bit more hollow, not as much top bright end sound to it. So you can really start to affect the tone considerably with the different height. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Do you have screw-in poles, or are they
Screw-ins? Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So even after you adjust your height, obviously you can mess around with that. So in theory, you could
no,
drop.
I do not have those. I thought you meant screwing in the height. Yes.
Oh, the actual pickup, yeah.
Yeah, they're screwed
so like on a Gibson style humbucker, or
You're talking the pole
Zebras.
pieces.
Yeah, so the actual pole pieces. You know, if any of you have them out there and you have the screw, they have screws, you can actually adjust those. So you could drop your whole pickup to get an overall sound, but then raise specific poles if you want that. If you want that hollow, or if you want it tighter, and so you can play with that. You can't drive them in any farther, but for a really customized height situation, you can drop your whole pickup and then raise specific poles. I know on my Nashville Deluxe, it's a Nashville Deluxe Telecaster. There's standard Telecaster pickups, but in the middle is a Tex-Mex style Strat pickup in the middle, which has raised poles.
Unchangeable, or are they
unchangeable.
Yeah.
You know, so they're just the flush poles, but they're raised up in the middle strings, and I never personally really use that setting, so I don't care. I've actually just dropped it down a little bit, but it's curious. You can really tweak your sound quite a bit with that.
Yeah, I found that by the time I was done, I think I went from a little bit more trebly tone to a more well-balanced tone at the end of that, which ultimately sounded better to me. So I'm going to now move on to the bass guitar and see what it does for that, because I've not messed with that one yet.
Well, that's kind of one of those things too. When you get them, if you get something off of Craigslist or eBay, and getting somebody else's settings, you look and you're like, what's string height? Was it like, wow, this wasn't intonated at all, or we've gotten a couple where the pickups are like almost falling into the body, and you just have to wonder, like, what are people doing?
They just leave it in their basement.
Yeah, like did
For
it get
15
moldy?
years at a
15
time.
years.
Yeah. Was the neck twist? So here's
there
something
mold
else
growing on
that is a relatively popular search on the YouTubes. So if you have I've got a Epiphone Sheraton 2. Okay, the neck pickup. If I wanted to decrease the thickness, the heavy sound of that bridge, the neck pickup, you can take the screws out, and in effect, you're making it like a pseudo single coil. not a true single coil. You're just thinning the sound,
right?
Because it's not you're just half the magnetic draw,
right,
essentially. Yeah. So that's something that is kind of interesting to do. And then if you take that a step further, and you take out the screws, and then you turn the actual pickup around, then, you can leave the screws in or keep them out. But anyways, if you turn the pickup around, then
keep going.
You're essentially take them out and then turn. No,
it's got to be your bowl.
Yeah, you take them out and then you actually turn the pickup around. Then you're putting, you're placing the most draw away from the neck, and that changes the sound even more.
Yeah. You're just
so it's
like position.
It's really weird if you think about it. There are so many variables that you can get out of just messing around with height and poles.
Yeah, definitely. I never thought about that too, because on my guitar I have it wired to do a bunch of different type of like parallel and split and all these different types of configurations that I imagine the different heights will affect those.
Yeah.
Either good or bad, which I didn't
That'd be really
think
interesting.
about.
It'd be cool if you could do a sound test on that, like record, a similar chord pattern and maybe some single notes, just a demo from each one of those things. Just kind of,
yeah,
that'd be cool.
I mean, it is subtle. It's not. I mean, it's there. It's not as super obvious.
Probably wouldn't be as obvious in a live situation, but if you're recording it,
maybe
that would probably come through quite a bit.
I mean, you usually then adjust stuff to compensate, because now you change your height, your sound has changed, so you always compensate something else.
Yeah, you're messing with your amp and your tone controls, and it's a world of variables. Ugh. It's a variable world of variables. Aaron, what's up, buddy? How are you doing?
Good. Just got back from.
You got a fresh Hawaiian shirt. Look at that thing.
Yeah,
it's cripes.
What, man?
Did you go to Hawaii?
No, I just got back from the Big Easy, which, in case you don't know what that is, that's New Orleans, everybody. Which is awesome in itself, just because it's like you're surrounded by music all the time. So that's not really what's new, but I feel like I got to share that just because it's quite an experience.
Inspired.
Yeah.
You said you saw some really cool show.
I saw a few. The wife and I had dinner at BB King's restaurant.
What are you, 75?
Yeah.
The wife and I.
We had some dinner, a couple drinks, and there's a.
Did you have baked Alaskan while you were there?
What?
You bake an Alaskan?
Yeah. That's an old dessert. That's like a really old dessert. Yeah, like martinis and a baked Alaskan with the wife.
I get it now. No, to answer your question. So the band at BB King's, it might have been the house band, but really what was the showstopper was the singer. She was absolutely amazing. Then we were walking around French Quarter and walking by this bar. They had this incredible brass-oriented Dixieland band, and they were just killing it. I was beside myself watching those guys because they were a whole lot of fun. There's also a time where we went on the wife and I went on the riverboat, Natchez, along the Mississippi River and had dinner. But there was on that trip was the Dukes of Dixieland, which is a Grammy Award-winning Dixieland jazz band. Oh,
I know this band.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's like seeing those guys in person. It was like, their subtle techniques just, you really have to look for them, but that's what the stuff that kind of makes their brilliance. I mean, they play a lot of standards and things like that, but just some of the way they would articulate certain things, and everybody in the group was doing it. It was
clarinet.
Really, yes.
Yes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, yeah, those guys are good. But
how do you know those guys?
My mom. Well, my mom had a long time ago a bunch of cassettes. And we'd always listen to them in the car, the Dukes of Dixieland. And I remember I was like a kid, and I'm like, this is not rock and roll. This is not, but somehow this is awesome. I'm like, these guys, their musicianship was profound.
Yeah, top notch. But anyways, really for myself, my wife for Christmas, the wife got me a
dude. Now you just got to keep going with it.
I'm doing this on purpose.
Is it still the same wife?
The same wife. Okay. For Christmas this past year, she got me a Rode NT1A microphone that what I've read about it was that in fact it's good for miking all kinds of different instruments, and the price point is really affordable. So it's like I wanted to get a lot of bang for the buck in getting a new microphone. So I finally was able to use it 5 months later and started recording some vocals with it. So so now that
the wife's vocals
screaming at you. Put that away.
Yeah.
Come to eat dinner.
Karen, what are you doing down there?
No, so I had to wait for her and the kids to leave the house for me to actually to do some vocals. So, it was fun just kind of getting the payoff on how good of a microphone it is, and it's for the price point, it's pretty unbelievable.
What model is that?
Rode NT1A.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Didn't I suggest that for you?
Well, that was one of the
I
ones.
think I recall that actually.
That was one of the ones you were suggesting, but I can't give you all the credit because I did a lot of research on my own as well.
You had to.
Yeah.
When I right before I got my
choices.
my Sennheiser, I was looking at a Rode, and but they didn't. I needed it now, and they didn't have it until then, so I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Cool,
so,
man.
yeah, really, I mean, it turned into something, especially now that I'm trying to mix that down into a song, seeing how that goes. So it's interesting.
Nice.
So you're share the song next one?
I don't know if I'll ever share it really to the mass.
No
It's a song I wrote in 2004. It's like a pop punk ska kind of thing. And
Wait a minute, didn't you?
Yeah, you heard the music to it, but it's like it's the lyrics and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was really impressed by the music. I hadn't heard your older stuff, and I gotta say, I thought that was solid, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like lyrically, I don't know that I want to make myself vulnerable to a situation in my life, eons ago.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's like stupid stuff too. It's like about meeting a girl.
Keep it in the drawer, bro. Whoa.
I mean, isn't that the most boring lyrical content? Aren't there enough songs about meeting a girl?
I thought you said beating a girl. You did say
no,
beating.
I did not say beating.
Why did you write a song about
meeting? MEET.
Oh, dude.
ING.
Wait,
man, oh man.
I was gonna say
you just almost lost us like hundreds and
no.
tens of listeners.
Tens and 20s. No, I was gonna say meeting a girl.
Yes.
You say that's boring, but wait, isn't that like maybe one of the core themes of rock and roll?
Love.
Is there anything cooler than meeting a new girl?
I mean, that's like one of the core tenets, right? Of
I know, but
rock
it's like
and roll song.
As much as I want to run against the grain, writing about something like that, it doesn't take a whole lot of thought. There's not a whole lot of just soul.
It doesn't take a whole lot of thought to make a bad one, but it takes a great deal of thought to make a good one. Put that in your pocket. Hey, you know what I got new this week?
Yeah, what?
Everybody?
New pair of pants.
Ooh, no.
A new
I'm
attitude?
not wearing any. New ones, sorry. I am on the prowl for a boost pedal. So I've been spending a lot of time looking at boost pedals. I was trying to use a Boss SD1, which just has, it's either off or it's got massive drive, and I really haven't found a sweet way to use it. Even after modding it, it's got a pedal with like juice, and I didn't need as much juice. I'm looking for a really driven, clean sound, early punk, and I can kind of get that out of my amp, but I wanted it starts to get a little thin. if I'm really boosting it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try using a boost pedal. So then I can keep the headroom on the amp open, and use that to kind of help drive it and not rely. So, cause it's a Vox, AC15. So it's got the high, the high boost channel. And
so it already has a boost.
Well, it does, but when I do that, it's a little it's a little thinner than I want.
Like
it
he
to.
said already. Why don't you pay attention?
You should listen to the podcast.
Did you know you have a top boost on there already?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Top boost.
Okay.
I know I said high boost, but I meant top boost. So, and that has an EQ on it, so I can adjust the bass and treble. And I wasn't really super stoked on that exact sound. Also, during our set, we switch into a couple that don't require that same amount of constant drive. So back off a little bit on it. I need to be able to do that without having to run over and you know, toy around with the amp. So I'm like, boost pedal. So I started looking up everything I could find on that on YouTube, and you know, anything in the pedal space. As soon as you say, I think I want, that equals 44 hours of research, at least for me. Because, you know, I don't, pedals are expensive, man. And, you know, it's costly to just go, let me try this. No, let me try this. Those are both of my inner voices. And so I think I got it narrowed down to a couple. And when I pull the trigger, then I will report on it and report on the couple that I was thinking about. And that's what I got new this week. Oh, also something here. Look what I got. I'm going to
walk across
share.
the room.
I'm gonna walk across the room. Get Foley artists out.
Ooh,
Everybody loves that sound.
That looks like
So
a bass guitar.
What I'm about to unveil is I believe it's an 81. I could be wrong. I should double check that. PV Fury bass. So it's the older ones, the you know, I guess subjectively you could say good ones. I got it on Craigslist probably about maybe 2 years ago, and I set it all up, and I've just had it hang in and been playing with it. And I brought it in because I got 2 bass players, 2.5. And I just want to know what you guys thought about it. I have, in full disclosure, Jeff has used this before, so he's had some time with it. But I just wanted to show you guys what I got. It was $125. And it's got the molded PV case, which is cool. You know, it's the old super angly logo.
That's what I was just looking at.
Yeah, and let me get it, and I'll show it to you guys real quick.
That also came with its own unique smell too, right?
Yes, mildew. Oh, okay. It's white.
Yeah, it's
white pick guard
with a maple neck. I'm gonna put it right here in the middle. Let's see, can we put something underneath that? Is this too high? Cool. So it is I guess you could call it an Olympic white, because it is that aged color. Olympic white pick guard. You know, it's a P90. Not a P90. A P bass
like
setup.
That's no P90.
Yeah, no, it's a P bass setup. The body's probably a little bit thinner. The curves are a little bit more pronounced. So not like a standard P bass where it's a little bit thicker. It has a rather narrow, not thin, but rather narrow neck, especially up towards the nut.
Which I really like.
Yeah,
that fits me nice.
It's I like it too. It's pretty nice. It's got like a good D radius on the back. It seems to be, and actually it might be Yeah, D's fair. Around D, not quite a C, but maple neck, maple fretboard, and it's American made. You know, you know, for some reason we put so much value in that. Like, well, it's American made, it's got to be better. And the old PV stuff, I mean, PV amps are indestructible. They're still, you know, Craigslist and eBay is littered with them. That was one of my first amps, actually. But the instruments, that was something new that I really didn't know a whole lot about. And I saw this. I was looking for a bass. I like getting things that are a little bit different, that have a little bit of extra character. And I thought, you know what? Here's an American-made instrument with a maple neck like I wanted. It's white like I wanted, and it's a P bass. But it's not a P bass.
Don't touch it.
No, touch it. Touch the bass. And I like it. I think that, you know, the headstock's cool. It's got a pinstripe around the headstock. It doesn't. I'll get there. I'll get there. Now, here's the thing. When you know, with anything on Craigslist, it's like, all right, meet me at the gas station, blah, blah, blah. I'm in the black, you know,
I may be a serial killer. I may not.
I'm in the dark sedan. And this guy jumps out, hands me the bass. I hand him the cash. I popped it open, looked at it real quick, and I said, yeah, I'll take it. And I got out of there. I wasn't worried about it. I just needed to get home. And when I got back, I opened it up, and I was just like, whoa, dang.
Was this in Eric Cook's basement?
It must have been.
It smelled really bad. So it smelled, okay.
Well, I don't even want to touch the...
No, hang on. I cleaned it like thoroughly. Now, here's the deal. They kept it in their basement, or I'm assuming. I don't know. But it smelled like piss. Cat or dog piss. It smelled like beer.
It smells like
it smelled like cigarettes.
It's made out of piss.
It's like they used it for a toilet and an ashtray all at the same time. And a lot of that was coming from the actual case. So I don't know the situation, but when I took the pick guard off and everything, and the electronics, dude. Yeah, it's probably not in tune right now.
It's not bad.
So listen, I took everything off, and inside, at some point in time, there had to have been like a cat or a beer.
Had to be a cat. That
went to the bathroom
inside of the
a cat.
Yeah,
drinking
no,
a beer?
it was inside
the guitar,
the pick guard. So like in the cavity. The cavity was
like soaked
with
in.
just stuff in it, and I was like, "What the heck is going on with this thing?" So what I did was, I put a bunch of coffee and baking soda in the actual case and put it away for like 2 weeks. And I thought that I got rid of it, and I don't think I did. It's still kind of smelly.
I'm quite sure you did not.
I know.
I think actually the cat may still be inside of the bass guitar.
Well, here's the funny thing. The bass itself has been hanging in the air for like two years. And the bass itself didn't smell until I put it back in the case this morning to bring it down here. So if the bass smells, it's a direct result of the actual case. So really, the only thing I need to do is just not put it in the case ever again. I hate to get rid of the case because it's the original molded case. The only thing I can think of doing is tearing the... No, you can't even do it. It's a molded case.
You have to get rid of the case.
I bet the cat slept in that case.
It may have. I also thought about just leaving it open in the garage or the attic for like a year and see if that works.
You got to Febreze that.
Well, the baking soda and the coffee didn't work, so I don't know if Febreze is going to do it.
Yeah,
Anyways,
but Febreze neutralizes.
Febreze.
You could get a cat urine neutralizer.
Room.
I could.
The whole room smells like that now, man. You can... Wait, I wonder if you close the...
It may.
Case.
If I close it may. But here, listen. So here's the deal. We think that the electronic signal is a little bit diminished. That's something that Jeff totally pointed out. I would agree with that.
With it?
I didn't play with it other than saying, hey, this is what it is, where it's at now. So my question right now, because the playability is really good on it, actually. I do like it. The thing that I am considering doing is putting in a new set of pickups and actually probably all new electronics and just doing it right.
What are they? Do you know what they are?
Those are just factory P-bass style pickup. PV bass, whatever was in there, whatever they were making at the time. So I would put in something a little bit more robust, obviously. But it has good road wear on it. It's got, good nicks and bumps.
Yeah, I like that.
Not overdone at all. It is the neck is in great shape. It's straight as an arrow. It's a good playing bass. And so I'm just debating on, I want to see what you guys think. So what my goal here is, and this is going to be sort of a bit of a new segment that we're going to start, is we're going to just do instrument sharing.
Show and tell?
Show and tell and a share. So essentially I will be giving this bass to one of you guys and you're going to pass it amongst you. And then next episode we'll catch up on what you guys thought about it and what my next move with it is. Cool?
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, bass man.
I think it's going to rub off on my shirt.
It might.
It's still in there.
Yeah.
Woo. It also might paint the inside of that potentially with some kills.
Kills. There you go.
Kills is white.
Yeah. If you open it up and just paint the cavity, that might.
Okay, anybody who hasn't smelled the case, actually go smell the case real quick.
No.
I just smelled the case.
It's worth it. It's worth it just to experience it. Go. Go, Jay. Smell the case.
Lay in the
It's
case,
like smell
Jay.
the glove, except different.
Jay, lay in the case.
They're smelling the case. We'll put pictures up of the guitar. It's a cool guitar. The case just smelled good.
So awful, man.
Might have been a body.
Yeah, I smelled worse.
So is that regular scale bass?
Yeah, the scale looked a little bit shorter.
Is it regular
It's regular.
scale?
34.
I like, how we talked about bass necks.
Yeah.
Like, that one feels good in my hand.
Yeah.
I like the feel. I like that width.
It's got a great radius on it.
Yeah.
And I think having it narrow up at the nut, I was like, at first I thought, is this going to be weird? But actually, I mean, it takes so little effort to get around there.
Because you can actually cup it like
You cup it?
cup it with your thumb on the top, like you play guitar, like chording.
That's Tune in Tokyo, Jay.
The nut.
That's different.
The nut does look like a jazz-based nut.
Yeah.
But it's a P-based thickness of the neck. It's kind of like.
Do you feel like it's the same P bass thickness?
I feel like the neck is.
think
T-bass
so
is a
either.
lot wider.
I don't know. It's not. It doesn't feel like a jazz bass.
Thick or
but
width?
Like the thickness of.
The thickness,
Thickness. How
not the width of the fingerboard.
No. How thick the
Thickness of the neck.
is like a P bass, but then it's narrow like.
Yeah, I don't like a
jazz.
really thin
It's
neck.
kinda
That
weird.
actually it hurts my thumb if I have to hold my fingers. Just like shredder guitars, like nope, can't do it. Like it's just it hurts.
I feel just dirty.
Yeah,
You
that's a
had
dirty
disgusting
thing.
look on your face.
But that's perfect for rock and roll, right?
Yeah,
It smells like a club.
Smells like death.
cool. All right, so we're gonna get to our new main subject right now, and that is a topic that we've been talking about at lunch and elsewhere. So naturally, it's a good fit for us for our episode here, and that is the difference between, or perceived difference between, reliced and roadworn. And this is one of those things that, depending on who you're talking to and or what company is talking about it, it can mean radically different things.
Or the same thing.
Or the same thing. Exactly.
Weird.
But for the majority of the world, as pertaining to the world being represented as the internet, all right, we are saying, for the sake of conversation, relicing is when you physically alter a guitar to resemble something that is road-worn,
meaning
and
played.
or antiqued. Okay, so that is it has playing wear, or it has natural age wear, or natural age, I guess, corrosion to it. Okay, so that's relicking. Road-worn is legitimate. Like I just talked about that thing. That right there, okay. It has legitimate buckle rash. It has legitimate neck wear on the back. It has legitimate oil or wear on the fingerboard.
Cat
pee.
Yeah. It has
Real
it
cat
has
pee.
legitimate oxidation of metal parts, et cetera, paints chipping off. And so that is road-worn. Now, that is not gospel, but that is, if you're searching for anything on Craigslist, if you're searching for anything on YouTube, that is the overwhelming majority of how those things are perceived. Enter Fender, who, you know, this is why we thought this was a good topic, because if you look up road-worn for Fender, Jeff,
Yes.
give us the def.
Well, road-worn in my world, I've never talked about things as being road-worn. So I immediately was like, not sure what you mean by road-worn.
We don't care
Right.
about your opinion. What does Fender say about it?
Fender says,
That was a cue.
dang, now I got to find it again.
The
Fender's-
minister's got it right up on screen.
Yeah.
So read it to us.
Fender introduces Roadworn
let's-
Player Series guitars.
It's manufactured. So they're saying road-worn is actually manufactured to feel like it's been road-worn.
It's a new guitar that someone
which
took.
is actually relict.
It's a Fugazi.
It's fugazi. And then they also have a series that is relic series guitars, to which they say, all right, we're going to take all, like, you know, NOS parts. We're going to take the original people that built those, specifically the latest, the George Harrison Telecaster that they remade. I think they only made like 70 of them or something like that. I could be wrong. It's like maybe 700, but I'm pretty sure it's a pretty low number, really low number. And they brought back the woman that actually hand wound those original pickups. The name escapes me. The Minister of Information is going to see if he can dig that up. The George Harrison Telecaster. There'll be a lot of information on that. So if you guys are trying to catch up on this out there, listening to the podcast, and you go home and you want to check it out, there's quite a bit of information on the actual George Harrison reissue. It's an amazing looking guitar. It's all rosewood and it's like a killer. But Fender's version of relicking is actually making it a relic of the ages.
Well, and not to be confused with Custom Shop, which has the time warped line, where basically you can dial in your level of how much scuff do you want, right? A lot of hand signals and
Yeah.
smoke pigeons.
So we just encountered when you say scroll up, depending on how your universe works, scroll up means down, or if you say scroll down, it means go up. You know, it's subjective. I don't fault you for that, Jay, Minister of Information.
I'm with you, Jay, on how we scroll. Right?
Natural scrolling versus
inverted scrolling.
What
I think
else?
I'm an inverted scroller. Anyway, so Abigail Ibarra, she was the famed winder from Fender. They got her back to actually wind these reissued pickups. So that in itself is essentially, you know, what they would use as term as relic. So it gets confusing because if you are trying to...
Is that really called relicking, though?
Well,
because
that is under their... according to Fender's press releases and stuff, they are... So that one's it's a George Harrison tribute guitar, but it's using the same application as their Relic series, which they go back to all the original parts that were used, all original spec that was used.
But that's like building to original spec, not building to a...
But that's what that was. This new reissue
is original spec.
Is built... I'm 99% certain this was built to original spec. That's
Which
why
makes
they
sense. Yeah.
brought all that stuff back. They may not be calling it Relic on the site, but it falls in line with their terminology of relicing versus Roadworn. So that's confusing. Now, aside from just the confusion of, if the rest of the world is calling relicing, actually applying age unnaturally, and Roadworn being natural age, the point that we wanted to bring up was, what do you guys have preferences? Like, do you like the idea of something being reliced? Do you like the idea of it being Roadworn? Do you want a pristine guitar? And I just wanted to open that up for the forum. I will say before we do that really quick, just to back up the whole relicing definition and stuff. If you look up guitar relicing on YouTube, there are no less than 94,000 results.
YouTube or Google?
YouTube.
Okay.
All showing how to physically manipulate your guitar to show age. One of the ones I found most interesting, because he was talking about how to actually prematurely oxidize the actual parts, was Billy Penn of 300guitars.com. He's got a really good episode with 223,000 views. So people are definitely interested in this concept. It's also worth noting that it seems to be more focused around Fender or modular style guitars, like especially Telecasters, more so than Gibsons or Gibson style guitars. For whatever reason, I'm not really sure. I don't know if it's an aesthetic thing or hey, if I do start to mess with this, I can seriously mess it up beyond repair because it's got a set neck and I don't want to mess with that. The neck's usually painted. So it's just a thing. It's a thing I wanted to talk about. And so Todd, what do you think?
So talk.
Yeah. Aaron, what do you think?
Can we talk about it now?
Yeah, let's do it.
I think, I don't know where I stand at it, honestly. Here's what I would love to have, like in, let's say, a 60s Stratocaster that has just been beat the high hell. That's what I want. So obviously somebody's
Roadworn.
It's been Roadworn because somebody else did
Right.
that.
And those are really expensive. I mean, those command a high amount of dinero.
Yeah. When I go relicing, I find beautiful. I mean, there's some people out there that do some beautiful stuff with it, but it's not for me because it's, in a way, it's sort of a front. It's not honest, but at the same time I can appreciate how they look. I just want an old guitar that has actually been beat to hell.
Yeah.
Or looking at this, George Harrison tribute, it's like at the same time I would also love to buy a brand new instrument that is the same thing that was built, eons ago.
Yeah, but that's not reliced.
No, it's not reliced at all. I mean, it's literally like
as
George Harrison got it himself.
Some definition of that depends on who you ask. That's reliced, right?
Right. So according to Fender, that's not reliced. But according to us, it's not reliced. According to Fender, it actually is a relic because it's all, it's all built to spec when it was originally done. I think, if I recall the actual article, I think they may have done one or two little new things, but for the most part, it's about the same. So, anyways, it hasn't had wear to it.
Hasn't been distressed.
Right.
They try to get back to factory spec.
Right.
Which is more that to me is vintage.
Ooh.
Versus
Right.
relic. Right.
Right. That's what we were talking about at lunch. Is like, why isn't that just called vintage, or
Vintage spec.
collector series, or
Yeah, something like that.
something that holds a little bit more understandable weight behind it.
So I like relic in the sense of that they've customized or created more of a piece of art than just something that has been distressed. Like there's something unique or special that they did to the instrument to change it. That part of the relicing is a look that goes along with the rest of the instrument. Like the trusser style, to me, you could call that relic because it's aged, but yet it is an artful piece that has been created.
Right.
It's not just taking something and scuffing it up. It's,
Right.
It's a completely reimagined style.
I mean, there's loads. If you Google guitar relicing service, there's like 5,000 posts that come up for that, and loads of shops. Just about any shop worth their salt will say, yeah, I can relic the guitar for you. There's some that are seriously specializing it and making some really beautiful things. But the question comes in: is it like jeans where you say, yeah, I want the jeans that are made to look old because it's kind of obvious that they do, or are we okay with that?
Like buying brand new jeans that have been torn to shit?
Yeah, they're like brand new jeans that have holes in them and
Yeah.
stuff, and you're like, wait, but they all have holes in them, and that's false. It isn't there. The authenticity factor isn't there, and I think
What's weird is, though, using that jeans analogy is like, I don't want someone else's jeans, right?
Right.
In a way.
okay,
That's the struggle that I have. Even if we translate that over to guitars, it's like, in a way, I don't want someone else's guitar.
wow,
You just said
what?
you wanted someone
I kn-
else's guitar.
I know that it's the struggle. It's the struggle because in a way, it's like I just want to fast forward 50 years from now when the guitars
Yeah,
that
you want to put your own wear on
Yeah.
it. I understand
Yeah,
that.
makes sense.
But
I
what
struggle.
about the idea of getting something? You're like, I don't know where. Like, what in one of the music events that we held last night, somebody was mentioning the band Agent Orange, and I've way back a long time ago bought an amp from Agent Orange, and I thought, wow, what stage has this been on? What's the history? Who's it played next to? And like, that's probably a smaller thing to think about, but because it's a little less personal, it's not necessarily held all the time. So when you think about a guitar, if you find something on eBay or Craigslist and it's like, some old dudes had this for years and years and years, and you're like, and it's worn, and you're like, this has had love, this has had attention, this is amazing music may have been played out of it. By whom? Next to whom? With whom? I think that's like really exciting.
But it also depends on the story. I mean, there's probably some stories out there. It's like, oh, I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, well, like the bass.
I don't want to know that story.
Yeah. So that's why I guess I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. Is it's like the
Yeah,
stories depend.
I get it.
It's like,
But if you found a sweet guitar and it had aesthetically really pleasing road wear, right? Real road wear, not relic wear. If you had that wear naturally occurring on it, are you telling me that you wouldn't buy it because you didn't like the story behind it?
maybe. I don't know. I would probably appreciate it more if I also enjoyed the story behind it. So it's like if there's like this old guy who played the blues in these clubs in the 70s. I don't know, talking out of my beehole. But
Would you buy?
I would enjoy that more than say, it's like I had this douchebag, just thought he was cock of the walk, who now, fast forward 30 years later, has this cool beat the hell guitar.
What if you never hear the story?
It's a leap of faith.
So if you had the same guitar, brand new, versus one that someone else used, road worn, same price, you knew the story or didn't know the story, Which one would you buy? You'd buy the brand new one.
No way.
No, you wouldn't. You'd buy the used one, Roadworn one.
I'd buy the Roadworn one. It also depends on what kind of guitar too. But I would say typically I would go Roadworn just because I like the idea that it's been somewhere. It's made music before. I've got brand new guitars. I've got used guitars, and there's something. I totally understand the idea of like making it your own, and I think that there's a place for that too.
These
Jay,
kinds of things just make my head explode.
Would you buy a new
Jay,
one?
what would you do?
Would you buy the used Road one?
I think I'm in my mind thinking the same thing some of you
He's so
are
smooth.
thinking.
I don't know if you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking.
I don't want to know what you're thinking. I don't care if it's. I think the guitar should just look like its age, whatever its age is. If it's a new guitar, that's cool, and it should be. It would look like it's a new guitar. If the guitar is 40 years old, it's okay for it to look like it's 40 years old, and I like. It doesn't really matter to me. So if it's a real guitar, I don't really dig a brand new guitar made to look like an old guitar.
Right.
Like that's
I don't really. That's where I'm going with like.
Yeah.
I don't really get that.
Relicking that.
No, wait.
So you
I mean the
you'd buy a vintage.
fake Roadworn like Fender. I'm not into that. Relicking, like the guitar that Jeff's got up on screen here, I can appreciate that. It's not really something I would be into, but that's really beautiful looking. And I can appreciate how someone might get their guitar
Now, let's be clear.
customized to look a certain like old way.
But that's
not for me.
Yeah, this is
that's a very small nuance that you just said, because right now what we happen to be looking up on screen is something from Wild Custom Guitars. It's an Explorer that has an antiqued or oxidized metal, almost like from like a vintage firearm. Down the plate, almost like a Thunderbird bass.
It's customized by they put a whole new chunk of metal across the whole base with whole new set of
and that
type
looks
of pickups
like it's got age to it.
And that's part of the aesthetic.
If you look at the rest, this is a brand new guitar. If you look at the rest of it, it's got nicks and scratches and chips and stuff off it. So that is not authentic.
Right.
I mean, nothing about that is actually authentic to age, but you're still liking it. Where I would say there's a small differentiation.
It's intentional.
That's intentional.
By the person. There was something intentional instead of a factory churning out, pooping them out like it's.
That's my
and so that's not.
That's my point.
That's not.
That's my point. So recently, going into a local used instrument store called Music Go Round out here. Big ups to Music Go Round. We like them a lot. They had a series of Telecasters that had been factory relicked. And then after they were factory relicked, they were then finished with a varnish over it.
No.
And there was something.
No.
It was like a. It was like like a devil spawn of a guitar. It was like, what have you done? Why? This is blasphemous. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I want to protect.
That's the word I was looking for. Abomination.
I want to protect this fake stuff I did to it.
Yeah, and I was like, this is absolute horse crap that somebody's doing this. And it's sad that some people are probably going to get suckered into buying that. I think what I'm with you, Jay, when you're saying like, hey, if there's a single maker, and Jeff, to your point too, like Trussart, Trussart, and a myriad of other wild custom guitars by loads of them out there, who are artists in that aesthetic,
correct,
and that is their craft. I think that's pretty cool, because typically they're going to do a little bit more than like scrape some paint off and oxidize the metal.
It's truly customizing.
Yeah, there's going to be a custom factor to that. But if you're paying extra from like Fender to have something look like it's been at a bunch of gigs.
I don't understand.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
And if you do, and if you dig that, man, that's totally that's cool for it.
It's just not what I would
At the end of the day, if you love a guitar, that's all that matters. It's just more of a question of why is that a thing? And I don't know. If I feel like it cheapens the brand.
So I think there's a general kind of consensus amongst us knobs.
Mm-hmm.
You knobs out there, I would love to especially hear from those that
Yeah, for sure.
You guys are full of crap.
Counterpoint.
Can you guys out there in the ether counterpoint us, please?
Yeah, or agree vehemently. That's cool too. But okay, so on that note, there is a guitar that I have that I would actually really love to see how far I can push it and make it look, I guess, self-relict. Just from an artistic and experimentation standpoint, not to use it again and say, look at my awesome relict guitar, but more just for the sense of like, I want to be involved. I love tinkering around with the guitars. I love changing them. I love putting my own fingerprint on them. And that seems a way that you can take something that maybe you're willing to sacrifice a little bit. Probably don't do it to one of your nicer ones. I did see a video where this guy took a really beautiful archtop Les Paul, not archtop, sorry, carved top Les Paul, and just destroyed the finish. And then the whole, like about halfway through, you could hear the uncertainty in his voice, and he was sanding the top of this. It's just, and you're just like, what are you doing?
Wow.
What have I done?
Yeah.
But when you do your version, you're probably going to customize it more than just beating the crap out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to do something.
I think there's something to be said for a modular jalopy guitar, a Frankencaster, whatever you want to call them.
Different knobs.
As long as if you're doing it yourself, cool.
Yeah.
Have at it.
Definitely.
I think that it adds a lot of fun to the playing and owning experience. But buying one that's been done for you is like the cheap way out. Anyways, them's my thoughts.
Yeah.
As we said, we'd love to hear from everybody on this. Quick, we got to do our top 4, and then we got to wrap this up.
Yeah, let's bring this baby home.
Like Sam the Butcher bringing home the meat. Yeah.
Like Fred Flintstone.
What? No. What?
Beastie Boys reference.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah, like Fred Flintstone driving around with bald feet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
You complete me, Aaron.
You guys
Top
complete each
4.
other.
Read off. What's our top 4, Aaron?
It is favorite amp sound.
Right.
Favorite
So this
amp
is
sound.
basically, okay, all boutiques, like, one-offs aside. If you had to, pick an amp that you could go essentially buy right now, whether that's on, like something like Reverb or your favorite used store or brand new, based on sound alone, not value, not aesthetic, not cool factor, or whether it fits your actual style of music of play, what would that amp be?
I'm going to get in and get out real quick with mine because it's a no frills sort of pick, but I would go Marshall JCM 800.
Okay.
Love them. Played through a couple. Never bought one, but
It's okay. You don't have to own it.
It's
hypothetical, man.
I know. It's
what do you love about that sound?
It's hard rock.
Cool.
And then so it's like I always think in my mind it's a Gibson or an Epiphone played through those things.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of harkening back to past episodes where John Frusciante, used a Stratocaster and went through Marshalls.
Yeah.
So it's like he got sort of an interesting sound by pairing those two things together.
Yeah.
So
I made you go a
it's
little
dirty.
bit longer.
It's dirty. It can be real dirty, and I love it.
Yeah. Cool. Jeff.
Mesa Boogie Mark V, because
I figured that's fitting for Jeff.
it is. Because
Played through an Ibanez Jewel?
No. Don't think that's the answer. But the idea of the amp that can kind of almost do any tone
Okay.
is appealing to me. So you can dial in so many different,
Versatile.
very versatile.
Unlike the JCM 800.
So versatility to me
Right.
is much funner and more useful. So the tones that come out of the Mesa are
I think it's
ones
because
that I
you're
favor.
going through some sort of identity crisis.
That's possible. It's very possible. 'Cause I don't really know who I am or what I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But the tones that other artists pull out of that thing are reminiscent of the ones I love. So
Yeah.
like all the ones like, oh, that's awesome sound. Who is that? What is he playing through? It's 9 out of 10. It's a Mesa of some kind. So I played through one. It was actually
That's a Midwest pronunciation? Yeah.
yeah.
Huh.
What?
Mesa.
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 It's Mesa boogie.
Mesa boogie. That's more southern. Your
That was Elvis.
That was Elvis'
Yeah.
southern accent.
Mesa.
I've always said
Mesa.
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 I've always said
Mesa.
Mesa boogie.
It is Mesa.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
okay. Dude, own it.
Mesa.
You just relic the name.
Relic it. That's a great idea. Which you can relic the Mesa Boogie cabinets. They have so many options. You can configure to your heart's content on color, skins.
Cane. They have the cane, wicker.
Cane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grill, all kinds of.
Have you guys ever customized your cabs in any way?
No, but I'm about to a new one if I get my whim satisfied.
I did
Whims.
it. I did it once, and it was a lot of fun. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What would you do to it?
I was gonna say Hawaiian print.
I ripped.
Sorry, I got this great.
That would be awesome.
I ripped off the original pleather, and I put on like this white pleather.
You mean Tolex?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. And then I also changed like the grill color. I actually took off the original and found some other fabric I wanted to put on it instead, and then I stained that fabric with some RIT dye and
Jeez.
kind of made my own concoction there. It was fun.
What does RuPaul think of this?
She would have loved it.
Jay, what do you got?
Ampeg SVT2.
Ampeg
basic.
SVT2.
Yeah.
That sounds very serious.
Mostly because that's the amp the guy from Boris uses.
What?
That's fair
Takeshi
enough.
from Boris. I love that band, the Japanese like slowcore band, and the tone. I've never actually played through this bass, but their tone is just like crushingly warm and low. So it's got that
Ooh.
Ampeg.
That's quite a description. Crushingly warm and low.
Yeah.
I like that. That's cool.
So that's what he uses. So that's I've heard it in a couple records.
Nice.
Sounds good.
I would choose the Music Man 112 RD. I think just because two of my favorite guitar heroes / sounds played them, Joe Strummer and Joan Jett. It's a,
Oh, you like them, do you?
yeah, just a little bit.
I would have never guessed.
And I mean, obviously, Leo Fender brought a Music Man after he sold Fender and everything. But there's I don't know. There's just a pure rock sound out of that, and I guess the key word there is pure. It doesn't make me think, oh man, there's a Marshall. Oh, there's a Vox. There's a something. It doesn't. It seems to sound like the artist, which I really dig. That says rock and roll to me. And I actually looked for one recently before I bought a Vox AC-15, and almost pulled the trigger on one. But everyone that I was looking into said it needed work, and I was like, I'm just not really willing to spend that much money on an older amp and then have to spend it to make it work right, hoping that it doesn't break again. Ironically, that's the reason that Strummer switched from his Twin, who's playing Fender Twin, to a Music Man, because he was basically just tired of having to repair them or fix them, or they weren't working. Yeah, so there. I think that'd be really cool to have. Love to play one. Own one, play one, /1. Anyways, all right. Woo-wee! Holy moly.
You all right there?
It's a good episode. I like that.
Yeah.
Lots of good discussion.
Yeah.
Lots of good follow-up, too. We will post pictures of this awesome PV bass. I think it is awesome, by the way. And if you have PV love out there, share it with us. Love to hear it. Not the newer stuff. The newer stuff's crap. But anyways, that's it. Right, guys?
Right.
Right. We out.
Right
Out.
as might.
Jeff, are you leaving?
Out.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please join us on Facebook.com/groups/guitar knobs to share your cool guitar stuff and thoughts on our episodes. We're on Twitter.com/guitar_knobs and also on Instagram @guitar knobs. If you'd like to buy one of our Guitar Knob t-shirts, come visit us at our website, guitarknobs.podbean.com.